And you are watching Danielle's Denture Diaries. So I apologize in advance if the video quality is a little different. Again, it is because apparently my Chromebook laptop has obtained its own blue screen of death. That's literally what it's called apparently, and it's not good. I have to get a USB drive that can be wiped clean, or I'm assuming maybe a new one. My computer basically has to throw up all the information onto it, and then I don't know what's going to happen, but apparently that's just what it needs. I don't know if I can put all of that information back on my laptop or what, but in the meantime, the guy that I'm seeing, my boyfriend, is letting me use his laptop that he hasn't touched in years, so we're gonna see what happens. He knows that I use my laptop not only for work, but that this is very important to me, so I'm gonna do the best I can with this. Another great thing is this is the second time I'm doing this video. The first time I did the video, I was working on editing, creating an intro. Hopefully I do it for this one. I'm really hoping, because I was actually really excited about it, and I think I found an editing software that I really do like and can work with, so we'll see. Hopefully I'm doing it right now. But the video I wanted to do originally is a denture FAQ video. I don't think I've ever done one of these before, but I kind of figured that this would be a great place for anyone thinking about going into the journey, anyone that hasn't really had anyone to talk to about the journey, can come straight to this video for hopefully some good answers. I am going based off of www.gotoapro.org, so gotoapro.org. It is the American College of Prosthodontists, or ACP, AOP, ACP. It's ACP. So that's where I'm at right now. No one's really come up with a lot of questions in the comments here. That's why I'm going to this website. I'm hoping this answers a majority of questions. If it doesn't, just let me know in the comments below. If as I'm talking and rambling you think of another question, go ahead and type it up and add it in there. And I can either do another follow-up video, maybe a part 2, or I can just answer in the comments as well, depending on how many there are and how pressing the matter is. But without further ado, let's get into the questions. So the first question is, I need dentures, where do I start? The best place to start is actually with your insurance company. You call your insurance company, get sent to the dental portion of it, and ask, when it comes to dentures, extractions, implants, all of the above, I want to know what all my options are. Generally, they're not going to ask why. They're just going to answer the question. The why behind it doesn't really dictate what you're eligible for. The why is going to be more towards your dentist or your surgeon when you go see them. So just asking very straightforward with your insurance company, what would be covered, what wouldn't be. They're going to tell you A, B, C, 1, 2, 3 is covered. If you opt for 14, 15, 16, that's not going to be covered. That would be out of your own pocket. So at least that paints the picture for what you can expect, not only financially, but then asking them, okay, so going forward with this, who is in my local area that is going to accept this insurance and what I am eligible for? And they're going to rattle off, it looks like you have 1, 2, 3 locations at 1, 2, 3 address. Who sounds like somebody you want to go with, or do you want to call back? Do you want to look into them for yourself? Personally, when I started, I actually asked them, you know what, this one is close to me, this one sounds good, let's just go ahead and give them a call while you're on the phone with me, and help me book this appointment because this has been 7 years in the making. I need accountability when it comes to just booking the appointment, so all I have to do is show up. She said, okay. She put me on a 3-way call with the front desk of the dentist that I ultimately ended up going to. From there, I then did give a brief explanation of my situation and then just booked me for the consult. So again, you don't have to go into a bunch of detail, but simply state, hey, I am in a position where I feel that dentures is going to be the next step for me. When is your dentist available for a denture consult? And they'll book you. Consults generally don't take long, so they should be able to get you in pretty quickly. Then you go in for your consult. Then you do your x-rays because they want to see what is the facts behind the status of your teeth. Not just how you're feeling, not just off your observations, but physically how are your teeth doing. Because some people think their teeth are much worse off than they really are. Some people think their teeth are better off than they really are. So this gives them an unbiased, fact-based perspective. So then the dentist will look at it briefly and come into the office and say, okay, we're here for a denture consult and a full extraction, half extraction, whatever. Tell me more. That is your chance to spill. And when I say spill, I mean it in the sense of maintain integrity and honesty. Understand that this is still a doctor. This is not somebody that you want to lie to. So you don't want to lie into dentures and you don't want to lie out of them. Let the dentist be the professional to make the decision because he already looked at your x-rays. But be honest about the pain that you're in. Be honest about any insecurity. Be honest about what you're experiencing, what you're feeling. Any pain, not only sharp shooting pain with nerves or teeth, but if you have broken teeth that are rubbing against your cheek, you're biting your tongue on accident, teeth are falling out, go even as far as to mention the financial standpoints and where you're at. The dentist needs the full 360 on where you are, especially if this is not a dentist you typically go through. That is what I did. Majority of my first consult was me talking and giving him context. It all started when I was born. I was born with no enamel, therefore it's led to this. This is where I'm at. I have no other choice. I have thought about this for the past 7-8 years. I need dentures. I want my teeth gone. I want them gone. And I said that with full confidence and tears in my eyes because I was so embarrassed. But the dentist looked at the x-rays and he said, you know what? This is really hard for me because you're so young, but I can see how committed you are to doing this. You sound like you've been doing some research, and I had. And he was like, it sounds like you've already kind of wrapped your head around it. I still want you to take more time to think about it because once this is done, it's done. These are the denture options that we can look into. And he made his recommendation. I ended up saying, I'll think about the recommendation. It might not be for me. I went through 2 more consults and ultimately decided on the denture I wanted, the sedation that I wanted, the timeline that would work. They took the impressions for my gums and teeth, sent it out. I got my teeth, my fangs, from my dentist around July. The following month was supposed to be my procedure. My dentist actually came forward and said, you know what? I want you to be asleep. You are doing both your top and your bottom at the same time, per his recommendation, and it was what I wanted. He said, I want you to go somewhere else. You will have your IV sedation completely covered if you go there, and then you will come back to see me more. I said, okay, that sounds great. That was basically the start, and as long as you're booking your appointments, show up to your appointments, take it day by day, do your research, do your homework. That's going to be the biggest piece. Hold yourself accountable. What types of dentures are there? There are 3 kinds of dentures that I am aware of, not including things like partials and other kinds of partials. I just can't think of it right now. Dentures, there are ones that are like mine. It is a full palate, and then there is the horseshoe denture. Those simply get adhesive put on them or not. They get soft relined, they get put into your mouth, and they can pop in and out almost at will. Hopefully not, though, with the right adhesive and applied correctly. But there's nothing else holding them in, just suction and adhesive. And a lot of muscle training, I will say, too. The other option is the semi-snap-in, or at least that's what I've been calling them. So those are the ones that you can snap in and out as you please. There are still implants involved. A minimum of 2 implants, top and bottom, are typically what's recommended. However, there are dentists who will say unless you're doing 4 top and bottom minimum, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, there's no sense of doing only 2. But really it's up to you and the dentist. It's either 2, you can do up to 8. The more implants you have, the more stability you have, and everything else that's implied with doing that process, having those installed in your gums, in your jaw. But those you can snap in, you can sleep in them, you can snap them out. After you're done eating, you can brush them, everything else. The third option that I was given was the almost like a semi-permanent snap-in. So your dentist would install it to your gums, to your jaw, and the only way that they would be removed again would be coming back every few months to have it taken out, deep cleaned, and put back in. The way my dentist explained it is that it would be as though they were your natural teeth. So every 6 months, once a year, you would be going in to have that deep cleaning. And I'm going to leave that answer at that because I do have feelings on all 3. Ultimately, we know what I went with, so that was my decision, and I'm still happy with it. But that's, everybody's different. Everyone is going to think about it differently. So do what you will with that answer. What is the average cost of dentures? For me, this is what played a factor into my decisions too. So the full dentures is a couple grand. I'm trying to remember how much. My permanent old school dentures, those are going to be $2,400. If that gives you kind of an idea for what I currently have, except mine are immediate, so they're actually going to be cheaper. But a couple thousand. And then the semi-permanent, the way my dentist explained the price, without me remembering the exact quote that he gave me, is that those cost the amount of a small luxury vehicle, which I don't have one. I can't afford one. That's it. It sounded like a great option. It was one that he recommended, but financially not feasible. And once I said that, he said, okay, well, I'm still going to present you the third option, but that already kind of answers the question. The third option, where you have them semi-permanently installed by the dentist, costs the amount of, I think either he said a small house or a small mansion. I don't remember which he said. I want to say he said maybe a small house. I don't know, but a lot more. How do I care for my dentures? So keeping in mind what you should and shouldn't be eating, which I believe that question is on here, so I'm not going to go into detail right now on that, but watch what you eat. When you are brushing your teeth and your gums, you are using 2 different kinds of paste. One is a denture paste specifically, and the other one is toothpaste of your choosing. I personally use Sensodyne. I've always used Sensodyne, and it's one that I like, so I just never fell off with it. Soaking your dentures in water. Do not let them dry out. When you put them in water, do not put them in extremely hot water. Don't put them in extremely cold water. Really hot or boiling water is going to deform your denture. The plastic, the acrylic, the soft reline, everything. The really cold water can make your denture more brittle, and it will either break, crack, or break more easily. So try and keep it in lukewarm water best you can. Using a whitening tablet is also really good for them when they're soaking. Personally, I use the smoker tablets. Not that I smoke, but I do drink coffee, I do drink soda. Not to mention the smoker tablets have the best whitening in it, so doing that. Do not bleach your dentures. I've heard that that's a thing. Please don't do that. That's not what they're meant to do. Let me think what else. It was mentioned that if you get things stuck in your denture, one less invasive way of cleaning it is using the air can from like the dollar store or the office section at Target or Walmart. I thought that was a brilliant idea. Or back brushing your denture from whichever direction it is that the seasoning or whatever got stuck in. And then staying on top of your soft relines and your hard relines. But once again, that's another question, so I'm not going to go into detail just yet. Can I sleep in my dentures? This is something strictly between you and your dentist and on your own personal preference and what you're comfortable doing. In a comment recently, I mentioned that my preference is to sleep at least with my top denture in. I have noticed that with my bottom jaw today, I have more bone chips coming to the surface more and more. So it's getting harder and harder to wear my bottom denture still, not to mention the cutting, until I go in on Tuesday to get it fixed. But I do sleep in my top because when I'm sleeping and my tongue can go whichever direction it does, my cheeks sink in, it's not a comfortable way for me to sleep. Plus, when I get up in the morning, I drink my coffee. If someone knocks on my door, I'm not wearing my teeth. It's a good way for me to start my day with my teeth in. I do take them out, and then I brush them, soak them. I brush my teeth, or my gums, oral rinse, put them in fresh and clean, new adhesive, good to go. So, should you be doing it or should you not? One thing to think about is your comfortability, like I said. I'm personally more comfortable wearing my top denture at night, mostly just for my own security, sanity, comfort, whatever you want to call it. Another thing is your dentist, if you were to go ask them, most of them will say it is a hygiene issue. I soak and wash and brush my denture before I go to bed. I'm brushing my gums before I go to bed, brushing my tongue. I'm rinsing my mouth out before I go to bed. So it's not like I'm leaving a dirty denture in my mouth 24 hours. They are getting soaked and washed twice a day, to be perfectly clear. The other issue is them being a choking hazard. I have found that with my Fixodent Max Hold, my top denture does not move. It's my bottom denture that will continue to move. I have accidentally fallen asleep in my bottom denture and it still wasn't a choking issue, but if there was one, I would assume it would probably be my bottom I'd be worried about. But other than that, no fear has happened so far, no scare, nothing like that. Some dentists do recommend that you sleep with them in because it helps you get used to them, it helps you feel more comfortable, helps you own it. Majority of dentists that I know of, though, recommend against it. And then I've noticed in the comments recently, I've heard wearing your denture as often as you can stimulates your gums and your jaw, that they won't recede as quickly or shrink as quickly. But I've also now heard in the comments the other way, is that by wearing it more often, they actually shrink more rapidly. So I may have to look into that more. If you guys want a part 2, I can include that question if I do look into it more. But let me, maybe I'll reach out to my dentist and I'll ask and find out for sure. But that is everything that I've heard so far. Do with it what you will. Can I eat normally with dentures? I'm going to say no. I am going to say no, because what you considered eating normally, it's not going to be the case with dentures, and it would be unrealistic and unfair for me to say, yes, you will eat normal with dentures. That's not fair. It's not real. You will be eating differently. It could be better. It could be worse. But the fact and the reality is that you've had how many teeth removed? You now have a foreign object in your mouth that you're training your mouth and your face to work with so you can ingest food. And that is quite a feat to overcome. So be realistic. It will eventually become your new normal. Just don't tell yourself that it's going to be the same as when you ate before. Like I said, it could be worse. It could seem worse. It could feel worse at first. It could feel better. For me, it's better because I can bite into a cheeseburger, I can bite into a hot dog, and my teeth aren't coming out. My crowns aren't coming apart. So for me personally, it's better. It's difficult in the sense of like chewing. It's uncomfortable, but it's my new normal, and I would rather have that than what I had in the past. So I don't really care for the word normal and abnormal anyway, but I understand why this question is one. Be realistic. Give yourself a mental and emotional check once in a while, and be realistic with what you expect of yourself. Be patient. A quote I actually saw today on Instagram is to practice eating when you're not hungry. Practice chewing when you're not hungry. And I thought that was really great advice. So, how much pain is involved with getting dentures? Not to scare anybody, but a lot of pain. And I say that because if it was easy, a lot of people would do it. Everybody would do it. If it was easy, everybody would have done it, and it would be considered normal. It takes someone strong-minded, for one, and it takes someone who is ready and willing to accept the responsibility that comes with having dentures. Having dentures is no joke. Having your teeth yanked out of your head is no joke. It is very heavy, and eventually you look back and you smile. Ha ha ha. But the reality is that you physically had teeth pulled from your head. It is painful. It is painful. And if you can manage your pain, if you have a high pain tolerance, that is incredible. The reality is that you had teeth pulled from your head. And unless there is someone who has walked around and willingly said, hey, yank a tooth out of my head, besides a 7-year-old with the loose tooth, I mean, I don't know. No judgment. I'm just being real, is that it's going to be painful. There are things in place to check that pain. The physical pain, your surgeon is not going to send you out the door and not have something for you ready. The pain can be incredibly easy to deal with for some people. It can be incredibly painful for someone like me. I was a horror show when I got my stuff done. And I like to think I have a fairly high pain tolerance. And again, I'm not trying to scare anybody. Everybody's different. My teeth were supposedly not as bad as I thought they were, but my dentist saw how bad they were and how bad they were getting enough to agree to the surgery, and that was a part of the thing. Also with how young I was plays a part. Everything plays a part. Some people say they have no pain. So with that is the pain killers, taking them regularly, having ice packs by your bed or by your couch, wherever you're going to be resting, having ice cream, pudding, bananas on hand, whatever it's going to take to keep sustenance in your body, drinking a lot of water, a lot of liquids. Mostly for me, sleeping as much of it off as you can, and talk here and there to practice and get a feel for it. Admire yourself in the mirror a little bit. And then the mental and emotional pain is, I think, what actually weighs on people more often and the most. So be ready and be as prepared as you can be when it comes to the mental and emotional aspect as well. How do you know when it's time to realign your dentures? You will know it's time when your denture is no longer sitting properly on your gums or on your jaw. It's popping off, it's going all over the place, and you have already tried to use adhesive, and you've tried to use adhesive correctly. If you are applying adhesive more than once a day, you need to go get your denture looked at. You should not be applying adhesive more than once a day. If your denture is painful to wear, and not just in the sense that your body is trying to get used to it and the rubbing is annoying, but like the cutting down here, my jaw is literally like this right now. My bottom jaw, it sits like this, and my denture wants to go straight. So right here where it's hitting the most, it's cutting. So getting something like that adjusted, getting something like this down here adjusted, where for me it bulges out the most. But any kind of a reline on your dentures, that's going to be brought up based off of how unwell they're sitting in your mouth and how uncomfortable they are. After a reline, what should I do about excess saliva? The main thing I would recommend is mints. I love having Altoids on hand because, for one, I like the taste of mint. It's great for breath. And any other hard candy that you can tolerate is what I would recommend. I've tried having butterscotch, however, and the other kinds of like Lifesaver type mints, I don't remember. But those actually stick to my denture in such a way, like a gummy kind of way, that I did it one time. I couldn't handle it. I spit it out and I started getting Altoids. It's more of a powdery chalk type mint, and I would rather have those. Plus, they're also very small. So even while I was working, even while I was talking to somebody in person, I might have even done it doing some of these videos in the beginning. I could have those in my mouth and still handle talking and MacGyvering my bottom denture. What are permanent dentures? Your permanent dentures, which I do the bunny ears because permanent dentures are not actually permanent, and I hope everyone here knows that. I hope everyone can learn that today if you didn't know before. Dentures are plastic, they are acrylic. Your mouth is going to be ever changing with life. You are a biological creation of whatever you believe in or don't believe. I don't know, whatever. No, whatever. No judgment. You are putting these prosthetics in your mouth. Your mouth is taking in a lot of bacteria. It's putting out a lot of bacteria. Food, seasonings, other people's saliva if you're kissing somebody or whatever. Everything you do is now there. And after 5 to 8 years, it's recommended you replace those prosthetics for many reasons. The biggest one is going to be hygiene, and then another reason is quality. You're not going to want something old and outdated in your mouth any longer than you have to deal with it. Dentures have already come such a long way, and for anyone that's held on to dentures longer than they should have, there is better materials now for that. As far as your permanent denture goes, your permanent, for example, going from what I have now, my immediates, to the next phase, my immediates are commonly compared to having a hockey puck in your mouth. They are big, they are thick, they are bulky, they are oversized to accommodate healing and swelling. It's a thicker and heavier plastic and acrylic. When you get moved into that next phase, it's going to be a material that's lighter. It's going to be a material that's thinner. It's going to feel a little more natural to your face. Not to mention, the biggest thing is you customize them most of the time, as far as I know. I don't know that there is a permanent denture option that you don't customize it. Maybe there is. But as far as I know, when you get set up for those, you customize your gum texture, the color, your teeth, the color of your teeth, the shape of your teeth, the alignment, crookedness, if you want to add a gold tooth, gold teeth, silver, a diamond, fangs, honestly, the sky is the limit. Be as creative as you want to be in that dentist chair. I personally look at someone like Avril Lavigne, and I love how her teeth look. I have always loved it. I've always been obsessed. Not literally. That's a really strong word. That didn't happen. I hope I edit that out. Probably not, though, because it's kind of funny. I've always had Hollywood-style teeth, and I love them. I'm still deciding. I just know that I want my teeth bigger. I had bigger caps, and some people thought they looked like big wads of gum in my mouth, and I am okay with that. I loved how they looked. So, TBA. Is it possible to have dentures put in the same day as your teeth removal? Yes. Yes. I did that. That is exactly what I did. I was knocked out with the IV sedation. They pulled everything except one tooth on accident. That was an accident. Go back and watch those videos if you like. And when I woke up, there was gauze, there were dentures, there was blood, there was a lot of saliva. I'm so glad I wore a black sweatshirt, like literally just a throwaway black sweatshirt, because I knew what was going to happen. But yes, you can have your immediate dentures put into place while you're asleep, so you wake up and you're not in shock, other than the fact of how beautiful they look. If you're not put to sleep, regardless, they'll do the same thing. They'll stitch you up, they'll put them in. This is a question I don't completely know the answer to. Any questions about implants, I'm going to answer the best that I can. I know very, very little about it, so I will do the best I can. I can look into the answers that are here on this website. If anyone has more context and experience, go ahead and provide it in the comments here. I have implants under my bottom denture, but my denture is still loose. Why? Couple things. It is more common that people will at least get implants in their bottom denture. That is the one that tends to move and float the most and fall out of place. So that is more common. It's already unstable as it is. Very, very incredibly unstable. The implants are intended to help, but they are not a guarantee. I will just say that. Nothing is ever guaranteed in this process. It is a do the best you can with what you have and practice, practice, practice. As far as why would it still be loose, my understanding is you still have to get relines for your denture even with snap-ins of any kind. You also still have to use, well, you don't have to. It's recommended that you use adhesive even with the implants to further help with the hold. That is as far as I know about it. Again, I don't know that much because that is not what I have. So if you would like even more context, if you want to visit the website on your own, you can. I can do a part 2 with it. Anyone with the experience, go ahead and leave that in the comments. As a new denture wearer, the bottom denture seems loose. What should I do? The bottom denture is notorious for popping out. It is notorious for being annoying. My bottom denture personally has had to deal with hearing me say, I'm about to boomerang you across my home. You're going to be a boomerang now because that is what you're good for. I haven't actually, please don't actually do it, but there's a reason behind it. Again, stay realistic. These prosthetics are meant to do the best that you can do with it and do the best that they're intended to do. They're not, it's never going to be the same as if you had your natural teeth. That, again, is just a fact. I'm not trying to sound negative. Personally, I'm still happier with my bottom denture than I am with my previous situation. It's just annoying, and that's okay. We can have bad denture days. Just like sometimes I can have a bad makeup day. I can do one eyebrow perfect, and then the other one just keeps coming out like, I don't even know what. It's doing its own thing, and I'm just like, okay, you know what? I don't even want to deal with you right now. I didn't drink enough coffee for this. I'm done. I'm going to take a break, and then I come back and I can do it. Otherwise, if the bottom denture seems loose, get that soft reline. That is the number one thing. If the denture itself is loose, get the soft reline. Some other great options are using Fixodent Max Hold. I love using it. Make sure you are using it correctly. The best way I can recommend to do it is you do the 2 lines down each side. Use a Q-tip, smear it to make it a smooth, thin layer. Don't leave it as a goopy blob on there. Then walk around with your mouth open the best you can to dry out your bottom jaw as much as you can. It's hard with your tongue. It's hard because it's the bottom of your mouth, but do the best you can. Then after letting it get kind of tacky, put it in and hold it. I usually bite down on my fingers on each side. Hold it for about a minute. Do not eat or drink for about 45 minutes, and it should be good, at least for a while. Otherwise, that's an answer. And then using C-bond wafers, I do love that because it actually fills and kind of puffs up a little bit and gets really soft. So that's another thing to do with that. But getting that soft reline, I think, is what's going to make the best difference. Is it possible to perfectly color match my partial denture to my remaining natural teeth? I would say that with today's day and age and technology and everything, it's very possible to get very close, if not match it perfectly. What you would want to keep in mind is that you yourself are always going to know the difference. When you look in pictures, when you look in the mirror, you are going to know, and you are going to be nitpicky. And you are going to say, oh my God, I can tell. And everyone else is probably going to say, you are wild. You look so good. And you're going to be like, no, stop. You're lying. Like, no, stop. And they're going to be like, no, seriously, you look good. And you're going to be like, no, stop. You look good. Stop it. Stop it. Unless it's literally a different shade and everything, then okay, you might be onto something. And then your friend is a liar. Tell them, stop it. You're both just going to keep saying, stop it. But I would think about that perspective too. You're going to be your own worst critic. So do the best you can to deal with it, and if you notice it's an actual shade difference, maybe go to that tough love friend that you have, go to them, see what they think. Just an idea. What do I do if the screws in the denture are loosening? Go to your dentist. Do not try and mess with it yourself. Don't do it by yourself. Take it back to your dentist. What do I do if my dentures feel very heavy and it is difficult to close my mouth? This is probably the most common, like I said, with your immediate dentures. It was intentionally enlarged to accommodate swelling and healing. Getting them adjusted. So, especially with my bottom denture, my top denture didn't need very many adjustments. It still comes up to right here. This is actually the top of my denture right here. I think I only had to pull it out of my nose a little bit because it was right under it, like right here. Sorry, it's really bright. But it didn't take much to adjust it. It was my bottom denture that I already had to shave right here. I had to shave the one side. Now I need to shave this side, and I also had to shave the back corners because when I couldn't close my mouth, it was because my dentures would connect here and it wouldn't let me close any farther. It's really hard to explain. I showed my denture or my dentist when I had them in, and he saw what I meant, and he was able to fix it by shaving the back just a little bit. As far as anything else with closing your mouth, some of it was mental for me. People will have a monkey mouth where everything right here sticks out farther than it typically would. Some of that could be healing. Be patient, give yourself a chance to heal and get used to the denture before you mess with the denture. If it's not painful, deal with it the best you can to ensure you're not accidentally over adjusting your denture for no reason. Again, not to be mean, not to be a butthead. I just wouldn't want you to accidentally wreck something you just got to make your life better. Off of something that's only temporary. Otherwise, for me, closing my mouth all the way, some of it is mental. I know I have a denture in my mouth. I know that this feeling right here is not totally natural, and this feeling right here is not totally natural. I'm not wearing my bottom denture right now, but I'm just showing you. Especially down here, this is actually the worst where I can feel it. And it did leave me with my lips staying open just a little bit. But over time, as I would kind of call myself out, I would relax my face. I was okay. It was kind of in my head, a little bit. After a very long time of denture wearing, I'm losing gum and bone. Can this be fixed? It's going to happen. It's going to happen over time. There's really no stopping it. You can slow it by either wearing or not wearing your denture. Taking good care of your gums and your gum line and your jaw. There is a situation where I do know of somebody who had a good amount of their jaw taken out during surgery, and she is going to be getting a partial denture on that side of her mouth. And there was a mention of taking a kind of a bone graft or something like that and applying that there. So I wonder if that's an option, but again, I would want to do more homework into that and then potentially do a part 2 to the FAQ dentures. My dentures will not stay in no matter what kind of adhesive I use. What should I do? If it is that you are using adhesive, you are using the adhesive correctly, you are not eating and drinking within those 45 minutes, you are getting a chance to allow the adhesive to get tacky, then your denture needs an adjustment. your denture needs a reline, a hard reline or a soft reline. If you are not using the adhesive correctly, chances are you are gooping it on too thick. Chances are you're not letting it sit as long as it needs to be. You're not biting down hard to solidify that adhesive where it needs to be. It's just kind of going all over because you're not giving it a chance to sit. Yeah. Is there a way to replace teeth with dentures after losing them from oral cancer? So like I said with that other person that I know of, yes, it's possible. You're just not going to potentially have the same kind of a process as like I did. I did have a medical issue that directly involved me not having enamel on my teeth. It had nothing to do with my jaw or my gums yet, or anything like that. I do have a significant amount of my gums right here that got gouged out during my surgery. Why? I still don't know, but I have noticed it when I'm not wearing my dentures. There's a huge like arch I can feel. Your dentist or your surgeon might have to be a little more creative in how they make it fit, but I'm again willing to do a part 2 on this as well. I would want to believe that yes, it is possible. Is it possible to get dentures after not having teeth for a long time? It depends, I would want to say, because like I said, gum loss is real. It is not a joke. It is not real. There are people who will get their dentures, they get discouraged, they throw it to the side, they say never again, and then in a couple years they try and put those dentures back in. 1, they're outdated and old. 2, you've been healing and shrinking this whole time, so they're not going to fit right. 3, allegedly, it can get to a point where you can no longer hold a denture with how little you have left for your gums and jaw. And that's when I would be asking about potential bone grafting, if that can be an option, if that's something even possible in the realm of thought, or implants, if there's something we can do with that, and then just have the denture be even thicker or something. I personally am a very hopeful person. I like to try and think as creatively and resourcefully as possible, so I would want to believe that it's possible. The back of my dentures pop up when eating. What do I do? If the back of your denture is popping up when eating, I would reassess how you're doing your adhesive. I would also reassess your tongue placement and your muscle movement. A lot of the eating and working around your denture moving or moving a little bit, rocking just a little bit, it's going to happen. It's going to be a little strange. You literally have a foreign object in your mouth. So I think a lot of it's going to be the muscle training and using your tongue in a way that you can still use it for eating, but it's also helping keep things in place. Even using your bottom lip as well with your bottom denture. It's really hard to explain unless you yourself have been dealing with it and practicing with it, but you would be surprised when you really notice how much work goes into stabilizing that denture while you eat. And this is the last question I have. After applying adhesive, it's very difficult to remove dentures. How do I remove them without pain? So I would be asking in turn, are you removing the denture after only using the adhesive for about 2 hours? Because that would be very difficult, I would imagine. I apply adhesive 1 time during the day. I leave my denture in, and by the end of the night, I can push my 2 fingers on each side of my top denture and rock. I can take my thumb and push the front. Then I can reach in and under, grab the top of my denture and put my thumb on the inside of my palate, wiggle, and pull out. And when I do that, I actually pop my denture forward and down and pull it out, because it'll sometimes touch the back of my throat and I'll gag. So I do it over a sink, obviously. My bottom denture by the end of the day is so loose, I literally just, and I'm done. Keeping in mind this part hurts, so sometimes I have to use my finger, but neither here nor there. If it is still somehow difficult, I would do it while you're watching TV, because that is going to, one, keep you distracted. Two, you're going to more than likely be a little more patient, rather than if you're standing in a bathroom or over your kitchen sink or counter or wherever. If you can sit on the couch, sit in bed, turn on some Netflix or turn on a movie, turn on YouTube, and mess with it. Grab it, rock, push, use your tongue for some assistance. Put a glass of water in your mouth and swish it through your denture as best you can. Water is going to dilute the adhesive and hopefully loosen that grip just a little bit. But I would say rocking it and staying distracted is going to be your best option, because you can sit there watching a movie and kind of do like that. I know I made a silly face at you, I'm sorry. But doing that, same goes for the bottom, kind of grabbing it, rocking it. My best thing that I do, I don't have my bottom denture near me right now, but is to grab like that, and then I'll kind of rock it that way, and that gives me a really good grip. Typically all I have to do though is I'll just gently push my denture back. It's a little looser fitting right now, but Fix-It Max Hold is really no joke. It's pretty good stuff. So that's all the questions that I have from that website. If you did think of any other questions, go ahead and hit that button that you typed up in the comments so that I can see it. Maybe I'll make another video. Maybe I'll just answer it directly in the comments, just depending on how many there are, if there are more. Otherwise, that's my FAQs there. I hope you guys have been doing amazing. Again, I'm still working at being more consistent making these videos. I'm going to continue practicing my editing. Hopefully my editing in this video is pretty decent. I was so proud of that first video, seriously. I did a 12-minute segment and then the rest of it in a second segment because my son woke up and I had to go see him for a minute. But I put them together and I even made my own intro. It was really, and it was so cool. Not to toot my own horn, but I'm kind of excited. But yeah. If you have any other thoughts, though, any feedback to give me as well for my videos, go ahead and leave a comment. If you like these kinds of videos and you would like to see a part 2, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you would like to see even more videos from me in the future, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.